the fly on the front cover of that Fangoria magazine, and the Lost Boys. Yeah, I just want to show you guys my collection. And you know, Fangoria was something that I grew up with in the 90s. Of something I collected, really enjoyed. It was my go-to with, you know, horror films, because this was the only way we could find out, you know, what was coming out, because there was no internet. So we had magazines to find out our information. And it's very nostalgic, and you know, I still enjoy flipping through these magazines from time to time again. Yeah, a lot of 90s Fangoria magazines that I have here. That's what I mainly collected. This was my first Fangoria magazine, the Terminator 2, where they covered that film in this particular issue. You got Jurassic Park, and yeah, I have a lot of these 90s Fangoria. I have some 80s too. You got Sleepwalkers, which I think is an underrated Stephen King film. Hellraiser 3 it's okay. Alien 3, I think it's underrated. You know, it's not as bad as people say it is, in my opinion. Disappointing, yes. I can understand why people don't like it. I don't think it's as bad as people say it. That's Return of the Swamp Thing. That's pretty cool. Got Penguin on the front cover. Early 90s, yeah. This is a great magazine. It was really cool back then. I haven't picked up a Fangoria magazine in some time. You got Carnosaur, which is kind of like a cheap, low-budget rip-off of Jurassic Park. Really bad film. That's a pretty cool front cover of Pumpkinhead. Man's Best Friend, underrated flick. Pumpkinhead 2 is not that great, but that's a really cool cover. I like that film. Wolf with Jack Nicholson. Brain Scan, that's a pretty cool film. I really enjoy that film. I need to do a movie review for that. Bad Dreams, another decent underrated film. Looking through these, and again, I definitely need to start doing some more movie reviews for horror films. I, Madman, that's a decent one too. And people that are, you know, just tuning in or watching this, you know, what kind of horror films would you like me to review on this channel? What's your favorite horror films? Or franchise, or whatever? Let me know in the comments below. Any suggestions you have? That's pretty cool. Talking about Child's Play. Bloody Best of Fangoria. You got them talking about Child's Play 3, which is a very underrated sequel in my opinion. That's a pretty cool issue with them covering the first Predator film. Later on in this video I'll show you the contents inside of these, these particular issues. The Dark Half, I think it's an underrated Stephen King film. You got Nightmare on Elm Street 5. This was a great magazine. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Cool picture of Freddy on the cover. You got them talking about House 2 and Night of the Living Dead Remake and Evil Dead 2 and Creepshow 2 right there. This is like 87. So Fangorias I have are about probably like from 1986 to like early 90s, like 93, 94. That's pretty cool. Got Evil Dead 2 we're talking about. Got Freddy and Nancy in the front cover. It's a really good issue. Talking about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, Freddy's last movie. Yeah, right. Phantom of the Opera remake, which I think it's an underrated film. Halloween 5 on the front cover. Not my favorite. I would show like every individual issue here, but it would take too long. But we got Critters 2 in the front cover here. I really enjoy the flick. Critters and Critters 2 are my favorite in the series. I saw Critters 2 in the theater back in the day. It was really cool. Warlock the Armageddon. I liked the first film. The second one I remember being kind of, I don't know, not as good as the original. You got Friday the 13th Part 6. Dolly Dearest. Rip-off of Chucky. It's not a very good film. I haven't seen it in a long time. I just remember the tagline, "Play with this, bitch." Bram Stoker's Dracula. We got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We got Aliens. That's pretty cool. They're covering that film in there. Got The Fly. Got Psycho 3. Got Deadly Friend. Look at that. That's pretty rare. Them talking about Deadly Friend. I have to definitely open up that one and show you the contents inside that one. Return of the Living Dead Part 3. I really like the Return of the Living Dead films. I think they're better than Night of the Living Dead films, to be honest. Halloween 4, my favorite Michael Myers film. And you got Evil Dead 2. That's pretty cool. It's a nice cover. It's pretty badass. Got Hellraiser, talking about Hellraiser. Yeah, the 80s was great when it came to horror films. You got Friday the 13th Part 7. Yeah, 80s horror was awesome. Fright Night Part 2. I enjoyed both the films, Fright Night and Fright Night Part 2. Even the remake is okay. Prince of Darkness, okay film. Nightbreed, I really enjoyed that one too. Underrated Clive Barker film. And Hellraiser 2. I definitely need to do some more movie reviews of horror films, definitely. But definitely, leave a comment below and just give me a suggestion. What's your favorite horror films? And maybe I might review some of them, you never know. The Addams Family on the front cover. I really enjoy Addams Family. It's a really good film. The Horror Show, which is basically House 3. I was not a fan of the sequels of House. People Under the Stairs. underrated Wes Craven film. And this is just a 10th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street. We got some more Freddy coverage with Wes Craven's New Nightmare in that issue, and Freddy's Dead. I got a lot of stuff that talks about Freddy. Big fan here. If you're new to the channel, I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. Interview with the Vampire. In the Mouth of Madness, that's a confusing film. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The remake to Frankenstein, 90s version. I prefer the original black and white classic. The Stand. It's not one of my favorite Stephen King's, to be honest. Sleepwalkers. That's a really cool film. Definitely check it out. Good Stephen King film, in my opinion. Wolf, Brain Scan. I think this is an underrated gem. It's an interesting film. Army of Darkness, classic. Love all the Evil Dead films. Species, I enjoy the films. Some more Hellraiser. A lot of Army of Darkness here. Body Parts it's underrated, definitely. Pumpkinhead. I like that film. Jason Goes to Hell. It's not very good. The story isn't very good, I have to say. And there's hardly any Jason. You know? It's not one of my favorite Friday the 13th. So, gonna go through this particular issue with them covering the first Predator film and show you what's inside of it. And let's see. What we got here. Talk about Hellraiser, and here we go. Predator. Really cool images there. Predator versus Schwarzenegger. That's a really badass picture right there. Especially this one. Over here, towards the right. You got up close shot of the Predator face right there. Arnold and Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers, he should have became an action star. He's very underrated. Most people know him best for, you know, the Rocky films, but he was pretty good here in Predator, and I enjoyed him in Action Jackson, and it's too bad he didn't, you know, become more of an action star. Talking about Lost Boys in this issue, and this is a pretty cool issue. And got a poster here with Freddy. That's pretty cool. Lots of coverage of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Dream Warriors, definitely check out Dream Warriors, the third film in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. If you're not familiar with the Freddy films. That's a pretty cool issue. And then this issue is covering Gremlins 2 and Child's Play 3, and this is early 90s. This is pretty cool. Trancers 2, The Return of Jack Death. I'm a big fan of the Trancers series. Full Moon Pictures. Does anyone remember Full Moon? They were kind of like, they made all these kind of B type of movies, but they were pretty Pretty cool, actually. The budget was pretty decent for something that was direct to video, exclusively, you know, to rent. Didn't come out in the theaters. Child's Play 3, covering that film. It's a really underrated film. I really enjoyed Child's Play 3. Chucky. Don't fuck with the Chuck. You know what they say. You can't keep a good guy down. It's a really good film. I enjoy it more than Child's Play 2. Alright, Child's Play and Child's Play 3 are my favorites in the series. Yeah, just flipping through here, just see if there's anything else in here. Oh, this is pretty cool. Poster of Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Fangoria had these cool, like, posters, like, advertisements for, the films that they're, you know, coming out soon. That's pretty cool. It's good advertising. And you got Arnold. It's a poster from Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And then we got here, let's see. This is the issue. They're covering Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Ooh, we got Howling 2 right there, I just saw. Yeah, it's a really bad movie. Covering the Gate. This is one of my favorite horror films from the 80s. It's a film that people should definitely check out. It's a really good film, good special effects. I highly recommend this film. I definitely will be reviewing this film at some point on this channel. And they made two films, The Gate and Gate 2, Return of the Nightmare. And the original, The Gate, is a classic. Some more pictures and from the set of The Gate. I heard talks they were supposed to make a remake to that, but that film does not need to be remade. Some movies should just be left alone. Got Freddy right there. Evil Dead coverage. You got Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Got Jason poster right there. That's pretty cool. I guess what they did was people would cut those, you know, posters out and just hang them on their wall. But I'll just leave them in the magazines. More valuable. And we're gonna flip through this one just to see what's in here. Talk about Phantom of the Opera. And they're covering Shocker, which is pretty cool. I really like that film from Wes Craven, my second favorite Wes Craven film. I did a review of that film on my channel if you want to check it out, but it's rare to see, you know, coverage of Shocker because it was a moderate success, but it didn't do as well as they hoped, and it's underappreciated. Very underrated film. Doesn't get a whole lot of love from the horror community. I don't understand why, because it's a really kick-ass film. It's really good, in my opinion. Definitely innovative and different, and it's just out of this world. Interesting. I don't understand all the, you know, harsh criticism towards that film. That's pretty cool. Poster of Halloween 5. That's really cool. I love that poster art back then. It was so cool. That was their advertising back then. It wasn't all these endless trailers that you see, teasers and 5 different trailers. It was just the poster art and maybe a teaser. You barely knew much about the film. And nowadays you pretty much have seen the film based on all the trailers you see nowadays. Too much advertising nowadays. And we got let's see, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. It's a silly film. Talking about Fright Nights. And we got coverage of the Blob remake, which I enjoy the flick. It's an underrated film in my opinion. I don't think I've seen the original, but this is the film I grew up with, so I'll just stick with the remake. We got Fright Night coverage here. Let's see what else we got going on here. What else? We have a poster of The Gate 2 with the demon on there. Gate 2 is okay, but not as good as the original. But as a time waster, it's satisfying, I guess. It's not too bad. It's okay. It's respectable, at least. We got Bloody Best of Fangoria, which is pretty cool. I guess they made a lot of these. We got coverage of Gremlins 2: The New Batch, which it's an okay sequel, but not as good as the original. It's more of a silly version of Gremlins, the original film. It's one of those films, it's like a parody of the first film. It's kind of strange. Gremlins 2. Coverage of Nightbreed. I enjoyed both versions of that. Because there's a director's cut and a theatrical cut. Child's Play, they're talking about the second film here. Got some pictures on the set and just different pictures from the movie. As you can see Chucky. It's part of being on the set. Like, Alex Vincent taking a picture with Chucky. That's a pretty cool picture. That's pretty cool. Rare pictures on the set of the film. That's a girl from Twin Peaks and Sleepwalkers. And I don't think there's anything else in this one. And moving on here, let's see. Brain Scan. I really enjoy this film. I really do. I don't know why, but Arcade, that's another full moon picture. There's just something about Brain Scan. I don't know why. I've always enjoyed it. It's kind of cheesy in areas, but it's a product of the 90s, but I don't know, it's just one of those films, it's a guilty pleasure, I guess. I've always enjoyed it for some reason. I've always had a soft spot for this film. I don't quite know why, but I've always enjoyed it. Maybe it's because this guy likes horror films and he's into Fangoria, and I was into Fangoria back in that time period, so it's nostalgic for me. We got, let's see here, kind of coverage. Oh, that's pretty cool. Talking about Deadly Friend, another film I enjoy from Wes Craven that's underrated. I did a review for this film in my channel as well. You got some. That's a pretty cool picture with Wes Craven and the yeah, the famous exploding head from the basketball, that famous basketball scene. I always found the film enjoyable and underrated. Wrath, Charlie Sheen. I don't remember much about it. The Fly. I enjoy the film. I like the sequel too. Look at that Cobra poster. And Death Wish 3. Wow. I enjoy both films. Let's see if there's anything else in here. It's like they're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which isn't my favorite in the series. Some Aliens coverage here. That's one of my favorite films of the 80s. Definitely James Cameron at his best. Yeah. Fangoria was pretty cool.